It's just another Thursday, the monotony of my workday bleeding into the evening commute. The sky hangs heavy with the threat of rain, mirroring the dull ache behind my eyes after hours staring at a screen. I decide to surprise MIA, thinking a shared ride might ease the dreariness of the day. Turning off the main road, I pull into the parking lot outside her office, a mundane act of kindness, or so I believe. As I approach her building, my heart sinks. There, under the weak glow of a street lamp, is our car. But it's not the familiar scene of MIA waiting patiently that greets me. Instead, the windows are fogged up, shadows moving in a rhythm that sends a cold shiver down my spine. I park a few cars away, my hands trembling as I kill the engine. Denial tugs at me, but the visceral pull of betrayal drags me from my seat to confirm my worst fears. Creeping closer, the muffled sounds become unmistakable, the kind of noises that scratch across the surface of a faithful husband's heart. I peer through the slightly ajar window and the sight guts me. MIA, my wife of 7 years, is there with another man, engaged in an act so intimate and raw that the world tilts on its axis. She's so engrossed in her betrayal, in pleasuring him, that she doesn't notice me standing there, a spectator to my own life crumbling. For a moment, time stops. The chill in the air bites at my skin, but it's nothing compared to the ice forming around my heart. How long has this been going on? How many lies has she whispered in my ear, her lips tainted by another's touch? With the scene seared into my memory, I stumble back to my car. The drive home is a blur, each mile stretching longer as the reality of her infidelity consumes me. By the time I reach our house, the seed of revenge has taken root. I won't let her deceit go unpunished. She thinks she can toss our vows aside? I'll show her the cost of her choices. The house feels alien when I enter, each shared memory now a shard of glass underfoot. I move through our bedroom, collecting every trace of her lies. Jewelry, clothes, photos, everything she cherishes. I pile it all in the living room. There's a cold precision to my actions, a detachment that scares me, but I can't stop. Not yet. MIA arrives home later, her face flushed with a glow that once warmed me but now sickens me. She stops dead in her tracks at the sight of her belongings heaped like trash. MIA, I begin, my voice steady despite the storm inside. Did you enjoy your drive today? Her eyes widen, confusion quickly replaced by fear. What are you? I saw you, MIA. With him. The words taste bitter, laced with the venom of betrayal. She stammers, tears forming, but I'm unmoved. Please, let me explain. There's nothing you could say. We're done. Cutting her off, I toss her the papers I'd prepared, an ending as cold as her deceit. You have until tomorrow to get out. MIA collapses into sobs, her pleas hanging heavy in the air. But my heart is stone. Turning my back, I leave her with her shattered illusions, stepping out into the night that no longer seems so dark compared to the shadows she cast on our life. This isn't just the end. It's the beginning of my revenge. The plot to break her as she broke me. And as I drive away, the weight of my wedding ring suffocates. Tonight, I'm not just shedding a wife, but the naivety that love is as eternal as the vows we make. The morning light is harsh as it spills through the blinds, the brightness at odds with the darkness settling in my soul. Today, I am a man on a mission. The remnants of last night's confrontation still hang in the air, the echoes of Mia's pleas as I walked away. But there's no room for mercy in the game she's forced me to play. I start the day with a visit to the bank. As I sit across from the manager, my expression is unreadable, my resolve steel. I need to discuss some changes to my accounts, I say, sliding the necessary documents across the desk. The manager nods, his professionalism a thin veneer over his curiosity. I want to ensure my wife no longer has access to any of them. Of course, Mr. Thompson, he replies, fingers tapping on the keyboard. I'll need her signature to finalize this. A smirk tugs at my lips. She won't be signing. Here's a court order granting me full control during our divorce proceedings. I watch as he reads the document, his eyes widening slightly. Very well, Mr. Thompson. Everything will be processed by the end of today. Thank you. I stand, the first part of my plan set in motion. Mia's financial independence was her pride. Stripping that away feels like the first real blow in this war I've declared. Back at the house, I'm greeted by the sight of Mia packing her belongings into boxes, her movements frantic and disheveled. She pauses when she sees me, a flicker of hope in her eyes that I quickly extinguish with my indifference. Mia, I say, my voice devoid of emotion. You need to be out by tonight. I've booked a moving service for you. They'll be here within the hour. She stares at me, her voice trembling. Where am I supposed to go, James? Please, can we talk about this? There's nothing left to talk about. I cut her off, stepping closer. You made your choice, Mia. As the movers arrive, I supervise the packing, ensuring she takes only what she came with. Each item leaving the house is a piece of her presence erased. When the movers load the last box, Mia turns to me, tears streaking her face. James, please, she begins, but I'm already walking away, my back to her, my heart sealed off. Goodbye, Mia. The drive to my lawyer's office is a blur, the city passing by as I plot my next moves. Inside, I lay out the groundwork for the toughest legal battle Mia could face. I want nothing left to chance. My wife should find the terms stringent, I tell the lawyer, ensuring every loophole is closed. He nods, understanding the severity of my intentions. She won't be able to fight much with this setup. It's tight, calculated. Just how you wanted. Precisely, I affirm. The cold satisfaction of ensuring Mia's downfall through legal means is a balm to my wounded pride. Leaving the office, I drive aimlessly, the city's lights a blur around me. In this vast urban landscape, I am alone, fueled by a betrayal that's cut too deep. The path I've chosen is irreversible, and with each step, I become more entangled in my own web of revenge. Tonight, I don't return home. Instead, I find myself at a small bar downtown, nursing a drink, the silence of the place a stark contrast to the turmoil inside me. As I sit there, the weight of my actions begins to press down, a reminder that while revenge may be sweet, its aftertaste is bitter. As the bar's neon sign flickers outside, the low hum of late-night chatter fills the air around me. The sting of whiskey on my lips matches the burn in my chest, not just from the drink, but from the smoldering anger that refuses to die down. Every sip I take is a moment to ponder the wreckage of a life I once thought unbreakable. My phone buzzes relentlessly on the counter. Reluctantly, I glance at the screen, texts from unknown numbers, Mia's friends perhaps, or her sympathizers. I switch it off, unwilling to wade through the mire of accusations or pleas. Tonight, I'm not James the betrayed, I'm the architect of retribution. A sudden chill sweeps through the bar as the door swings open, ushering in more than just the autumn wind. A figure approaches, his steps deliberate, his presence familiar yet unnervingly out of place. It's Elliot, Mia's brother. James, he begins, his voice tense, we need to talk. I nod toward the empty stool beside me, my face unreadable. If you're here to plead her case, you're wasting your time. He sits, his eyes searching mine for a trace of the brother-in-law he once knew. It's not just about pleading. It's about understanding. What are you gaining from this, really? His question lingers in the air, heavy with unspoken accusations. I take another drink, letting the silence stretch between us. I gain peace, I finally reply, the words sharp and cold. The peace that comes from knowing the person who betrayed me can't hurt me, or anyone else, again. Elliot shakes his head, frustration etched into his features. You're destroying her, James. And for what? Satisfaction? The simplicity of his view grates on me. It's not just about satisfaction. It's justice, Elliot. She made her choice, and now she lives with the consequences. Elliot leans in, his voice lowering. There are other ways that don't end in total destruction. You can still pull back. Pulling back isn't in my plan, though. I've only just begun, I say, turning to face him fully. This is about more than Mia now. It's about setting an example. About showing what happens when trust is shattered. The bartender passes by, casting a wary glance at us before moving on. Elliot's frustration gives way to a resigned sigh. I can't watch you do this. She's my sister, James. Despite everything, I hoped you'd remember the good times enough to choose differently. The reminder of good times is a low blow, and it stirs something in me, perhaps the last vestige of the man who would have forgiven MIA. But he's overshadowed now by the hurt and the need to ensure she can't inflict this pain on anyone else. I remember enough, I confess, staring into the amber liquid that's been my only solace tonight. Enough to know that those good times were built on lies. Elliot stands, defeated and sorrowful. I hope one day you find what you're looking for, James. I truly do. His departure leaves a hollow echo, matching the hollowness spreading inside me. The night stretches on, each tick of the clock a reminder of the path I've chosen. Alone, I plot my next moves, weaving a network of legal and social traps for MIA. By morning, the seeds of a more intricate plan take root, one that involves not just MIA but those who enabled her deceit. The intrigue deepens, the plot of retribution weaving through the lives entangled in Mia's affair, promising that the fallout will touch more than just the guilty. As dawn breaks, I leave the bar with a new determination. This isn't just a personal vendetta anymore, it's a crusade against betrayal itself. The cold light of dawn does nothing to ease the darkness that settled deep within me. The city wakes slowly, but I've been up all night, plotting, planning every detail of the final act of my revenge. Today, it all ends, one way or another. My first stop is at the office of a private investigator I've employed to dig deeper into Mia's life. The office smells of stale coffee and old cigarettes, but the information he provides is fresh and damning. James, you were right, he says, handing over a folder brimming with photos and documents. It wasn't just him. She's been involved with several people. Some of them your so-called friends. I scan the contents, each photo and message a nail in the coffin of my former life. My jaw tightens, the last bits of any residual affection for MIA disintegrating. And the others? I ask, referring to the friends who betrayed me. They're all in this, he confirms. Meetings, messages, it's like a network, James. A network of traitors. The thought fuels a new, fiercer anger in me, but also solidifies my resolve. Thank you, I tell him, my voice calm despite the storm raging inside. Leaving the office, I make several calls. By noon, everything is in place. I've arranged a meeting under the guise of reconciliation, at the very bar where my plans took shape. One by one, MIA and the treacherous circle of friends begin to arrive, their expressions mixed with confusion and cautious relief. They think this is the end of the hostility, that forgiveness might be on the table. Once everyone is gathered, I stand, my presence commanding the room. Thank you all for coming, I begin, my tone deceptively calm. I wanted to discuss the future, our futures. MIA looks hopeful, her eyes searching mine for a sign of the man she once knew. I meet her gaze, letting her see the cold determination there. I know about everything, I announce, dropping the bombshell as I scatter copies of the evidence across the table. Every betrayal, every lie. The shock is palpable, the silence that follows, deafening. Accusations start to fly, not just at me, but among each other. As they realize the extent of my knowledge, the unity crumbles. Mia's voice breaks the chaos. James, please, we can. There's no we anymore, MIA. There never will be again. Turning to the rest, I continue, and as for all of you, consider this your notice. You're all exposed. I've sent everything to your spouses, your bosses, your families. The horror on their faces is almost satisfying. Almost. But why? Mia's voice is a whisper of despair. Because justice needed to be served. Because I needed to clean the rot out of my life, I say, my voice rising in anger. And you, I point directly at her, were the deepest rot. I leave them then, their cries and pleas fading behind me as I walk away. My steps are heavy, but my heart is strangely light. I've done what needed to be done. They will lose everything, as I did, and perhaps in their loss, they'll understand the depth of their betrayal. As I step outside, the chill in the air mirrors the chill in my heart. There's no joy in this victory, no triumph. Only the bitter satisfaction of justice served. I walk away from the bar, from the past, knowing this chapter of my life is closed forever. Behind me, the lives of the traitors crumble, but ahead, the road is clear. The future is uncertain and empty, but it is mine to shape, free from the shadows of deceit. As I disappear into the bustling city, a new man emerges from the ashes of the old, one who will never trust us blindly but will perhaps learn to live again.